What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Phil Jones Show, whatever we're calling this thing nowadays, as we wait for Phil Jones to show up.
There we are. I saw the countdown. I thought, man, let me give me something to drink real quick.
Yeah, that timer plays tricks on your mind. It makes you think like you have more time than you actually do.
It does. I broke out of here at about 16 seconds, and I thought, man, I don't know. That's going to go quick. And obviously it did.
Yep. So what's up, man? You have a happy new year?
Yeah, man, I did. I hope everybody out there had a happy new year. Larry, I know you and I have talked about it. I'm trying to remember now, have we done the show since we all went to the Gator Bowl?
I think so. Yeah, we did it last week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we had our Gator Bowl takeover. You guys probably heard us talking about that last week. That's where we at ITG Next, we treat hundreds of kids, usually it's somewhere around 500 kids that we treat to the Gator Bowl every year. We pay for their ticket, and they're not bad tickets, they're bad seats at all. They're not upper deck or anything like that. We feed them. We have a personal pizza for everybody, kids, adult, everybody. And all the schools have to do is get the people there. And so, Larry, you'll be proud to note Lowndes had a huge turnout. Had to bring a couple of buses. Yeah, so they always are well represented. And Cook was there, Yulee High School, the proud home of one Derrick Henry. And so anyway, we had a lot of kids from all over the place, and we appreciate everybody for coming. But anyway, thank you guys for being here, a part of the show. It is Extra Point with Phil Jones and, of course, Larry Godwin, who is pretty much becoming a regular with me now every week, and we're glad to have him. I've been extending this invitation to Larry for a couple of years now, and I'm glad that he finally took us up on it. But as always, you guys let us know what you want to talk about. I've got your questions over on my phone. I've got the show up. So definitely want to hear from you guys. Larry, I guess the biggest thing to talk about as we get started is the many openings that are currently, well, I guess I should say all the coaching vacancies that we have across the state. This is always a thing, even though Georgia is one of the most attractive states for high school football coaching positions, head coaching positions, Larry. There's always a tremendous amount of turnover right after the state championships, the playoffs end.
Yeah. I don't know if we've ever given it like an informal name, but it's the coaching carousel season, right? You see it at every level, whether it's high school, colleges are going through it now, the NFL certainly going through it. But, it always amazes me, Phil, how many coaching vacancies are usually open in the state of Georgia after every single season, right? There's only like 400 or so football playing schools in the state of Georgia. So I wonder how many years it takes on average, for Georgia to have a complete turnover of head coaches. Because if you have 400, let's say 400 high schools, and you average 50 coaching vacancies a year, Phil, that's only 8 years that you have a complete turnover of head coaches.
Well, I can tell you, and because I wrote the article last night, and I did leave off a couple of schools apparently where I updated from what the report that I had was the current schools that are currently looking for a head football coach, and I've got about 55. Now, since I posted the story last night, I guess around midnight, we've had a couple of people tell me Greene County and Wayne County are two that I did not have on my list. You guys can find the complete list that we posted on really any of our sites, both our website and, of course, all of our social media sites as well. But Larry, there's a bunch of them, some big name schools in here. And I got to be honest with you, the biggest, without a doubt, are Camden, Brunswick, and, Irwin County in there. Look, Irwin County, we've talked about it. Irwin County has been a true blue blood program. before Larry Harold's one and only year last year, Irwin County was making the finals, state finals, the playoffs. I mean, the quarterfinals. I put together a whole list of basically a decade of dominance, Larry.
Right.
Irwin County prior to last year, shocking to see what's happened to that program. Now I'm going to add something too, and I hope this is not the situation. But someone told me that in Irwin County that they did away with the feeder, like all the recreation programs in Ocilla.
Really?
Has anybody heard about that? Can anybody substantiate that? This came,
Wow.
this came from a pretty good source, and that apparently had something to do with why the previous coach, Coach Soliday, left. Because man, if you don't have a feeder program of some kind in a small town like that, you have no chance. Because Larry, not everybody is wanting to move to Ocilla, Georgia.
So, traditionally, a feeder program for a high school team, we're usually talking about the middle school programs, right? And before then, you have some form of a rec league.
Well, yeah, I count it all, by the way, Larry. When I say feeder system, I'm talking about it all. I mean,
They did away with every level.
I had heard, and again, that's why I'd like for somebody to substantiate it, was that the recreation department, I don't know if it just does not exist anymore. I don't know if they just did away with football. But that's what I had heard, that they did away with the younger football. And again, it's hard for me to imagine. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's what I'd heard.
that is that's hard for me to wrap my mind around.
Yeah, me too.
Why would a system do that other than cost? Maybe they just didn't have the money to do it or whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway, so if you guys are up there in Irwin County or Fitzgerald, any of the areas around Ocilla, and you know what the deal is, give us a shout. Let us know.
100%. Yeah, definitely want to get. If it's just a wild rumor, then so be it. And I can't remember who exactly told me that, but it was somebody that I trust. I mean, just wasn't like Jimmy coming off the street and telling me about that. So, wow. How about let's see here. So Matthew Gay is reporting that Jim Dickerson is retiring from Clinch.
Mm.
Wow.
Well, you had to think that was a temporary solution when he came when he returned to that program because of what had just happened. So I had to think that was probably going to be a temporary situation.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, he seemed happy. He came back. He seemed to be revitalized. We had him at our last banquet last year, and man, he was talking about how excited he was to be back. And it sounded like he had his feet firmly planted back in the coaching seat or the coaching position again. So I got to be honest with you, a little bit of a surprise to me that we hear that Jim Dickerson is retiring, if that's true. And I have no reason to dispute Matthew Gay's comment on that. But wow, well, add that to the list then, to an already growing list of coaching vacancies. Larry, we started out the show talking about how Georgia always has so many. Isn't that quite an anomaly? When you have so many people coaches wanting to get to Georgia, but then there at the same time appears to be a mass exodus of head coaches.
Well, listen, with everybody knows the reason why coaches come to Georgia from other states, whether it's Florida or Alabama, wherever, just because we put a premium on high school football, not just in the South Georgia, but all across the state. And
Right.
Because of that, we pay these coaches very, very well. Now, as you know, Phil, in the professional world, the higher your salary level is, the higher the expectations on you, right? And so with a head coaching football position is so unique in the state of Georgia, obviously, because we do pay well. But because of that, the expectations are super high, whether they're justified or not. The expectations are super high. And now we're getting to the point where coaches aren't even given 3 years anymore to try to get their programs in place. That's how much of a pressure cooker it is for the head coaches in Georgia now.
Yeah, you're right. And of course, no turnover. I would say in the top, 10% of the jobs that, as far as salary goes. In fact, I would say that the only two, and I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show that Camden and Brunswick are open. I may be wrong, but I don't remember there being two such high classification jobs open simultaneously.
Yeah.
And again, I could be wrong, but that's just from my experience. It seems like most of the openings, Larry, are from about middle of the classifications. That is 3, 4A and down.
Yeah, you're probably right. I haven't looked at all of it, all the lists that you publish, but some of the larger schools, just off the top of my head, of course, you got Camden County.
Yep.
You got Brunswick, like you talked about. You got Johns Creek. That's a 5A program. Right? That's a big school.
Right? Yeah, it's either 5A or 6A. That's right there for South Fulton County line. That's where Matt Helmrich was before he left and went to Peachtree Ridge.
That's right. So as far as 6A goes, I just pulled up the AJC's website. They've got Alpharetta, Camden County, Chapel Hill, Discovery, Heritage, Mountain View, Westlake, West Forsyth, and Wheeler. And now you had Camden. Well, we talked about Camden. So you got about, a dozen schools or less in the 6A classification.
Right.
That means the vast majority of them are smaller than that.
Yeah. Again, I think it was around 55 that I counted when I did the story last night. Okay. So I'm getting an anonymous tip here. This gentleman has asked me not to use his name, and I, of course, am going to respect that. I am hearing from this gentleman, and believe me, if anybody knows, he would know, that apparently there are strong rumors that Dr. Slack Coach Slack at Cook could be going to Brunswick, and I've heard that before.
What? That would be
it's a rumor.
Shocker, massive shocker.
Yeah, that's just a rumor. Just a rumor. I want to be on the. Listen, I've gotten in trouble about this before.
That's a doozy to throw out there, Phil.
Again, well, you're hearing all kind of names, and who knows if it's true, but this person just threw it out there that, oh man, now, boy, they're coming in hot and heavy now. I got another one. Now, Coach.
Okay, so before you throw out any other names, we want to make sure, guys, this is completely speculation.
Yes.
At this point. Don't
100%. Don't. Yeah. Thank you, Larry. Do not go on and say, "Hey, Phil said." Okay, this is just what we're hearing.
Yeah.
Just what we're hearing. I mean, anybody can throw anything out. I'm not coming at it from any kind of authoritative position. Okay, this is no inside information. It's just some people saying, "Hey, this is what I'm hearing." Okay, so. But anyway, I'm getting a couple of doozies here that are coming in about who could possibly go into Camden County. So there's a couple there.
Wait. You going to leave us hanging like?
Yeah, I got to back off of it. Can't do it. Listen,
you better listen to the text.
I will. This Byron Slack thing has been out there for a while. I mean, everybody's talking about it. So that's nothing really. I started hearing about that last week.
Yeah.
And again, just alleged. Who knows? I have no inside information. But here's another one that's coming in. If these are true, no, these are going to be some doozies. And no, it's not Rush. I will tell you that.
That's what everybody wanted to know right there.
Yeah. But, Rush's name keeps coming up, and I have reached out to Rush. Last time I talked to Rush, he said that one of his goals is really to build, he wants to go to a South Georgia or any program anywhere. He didn't really say South Georgia, but he wants to go to a program and build a national brand. That's what he told me. It was verbatim that he wants to build another national brand. So my question, Larry, is why would a school not hire Rush Prost?
I'm going to answer your question by I can't remember the correct terminology for this, so I may be butchering this, but this is answering it from the negative approach. Okay.
Okay.
And so that means that I'm not giving you the positive reasons to hire someone like Rush. So it's the negative reasons why, and it'll completely make sense as soon as I tell you. So I have a theory that because right or wrong, Rush has got a reputation. Right now,
Sure.
some people think it's great, some people think it's not great. I'm not here to debate any of that, but the fact is he does have a reputation, good or bad. Now, I have a theory that there's two types of programs that are interested in hiring someone like Rush. Okay, I'll characterize it that way. The first is a school that is desperate to start winning, like they've never had any type of tradition rooted in winning at all. Maybe they've had seasons here and there where they've barely broken above 500, but they're scratching their heads thinking, we got everything in place. Why can't we win? And so let's go out there. We've tried everything. Let's go out there and get the best football mind that we can. And so they settle on Rush Pro and they bring in someone like Rush. The other type of program is a program field that is already accustomed to winning, like a Valdosta or Camden County or a Lowndes or fill in the blank, whoever, a program that is used to being on top of the mountain, right? But for whatever reason, in the last 5, 6, 8 years, they've found themselves as not being on top of the mountain, and they're desperate to get back up to where they think they rightfully belong.
Sure.
So what do these two types of programs have in common? They're desperate to win. When you are desperate for anything, whether it's you're dying from starvation or you got a kid that is really sick and you don't have any money, people find themselves in desperate situations and you're willing to suspend what you would normally do to fulfill that need, right? And so that's a very simplistic and almost dark way of thinking why a program would hire someone like Rush. But you know what? I think any program that is interested in winning, period, would be interested in Rush because he is a brilliant football mind. I don't necessarily agree with some of the decisions that he's made in the past, but I'm not here to judge him. I'm just here to talk about X's and O's and how to build a winning football culture. And right or wrong, Rush knows how to build winning teams. He's
well,
proven
look, guys.
Yeah,
he has. Look, the thing is, these situations that have involved Rush, where things have gone, awry, have been isolated cases. I mean, it's not, out of his, many, many years of coaching. How many years has he been played overall? And you follow what I'm saying? It's kind of a small percentage, and I get it; it's there. I'll tell you this though: there's some really good doctors that I'm aware of who have terrible bedside manners.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just saying that because sometimes those that are excellent at their craft may not make the best neighborly individual. I mean, I'm just trying to best way I can put that. Now, I'll say this too. Rush just got through coaching at a Christian based academy, Coosa Christian. He just won a state championship there, right? And apparently everything went fine at that school. Now they went back and hired the previous coach. And look, I just think that was a lot of politicking involved and a lot of things involved. I don't think it had anything to do with Rush. But say what you will, Rush led that program to a state championship.
Yeah.
And listen, they were one of the smallest schools in terms of roster size. Rush was playing with 16, 17 players.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning these guys were going on both sides. Rush was having to utilize the TV timeouts as part of his timeout strategy to rest these players, and he worked. He was a master. He was a master at it. My point being, Larry, let me finish the thought. My point being is why I asked you the question. Look, it gets to a point where, is the glass half full or is it half empty? I mean, you look at it, you weigh the good with the bad. I do that with just about everything I do. I have an imaginary pros and cons list in my mind, and I go through everything and I weigh again the good and the bad. I just think there's a lot more good than bad with Rush. And my gosh, we can say that with a lot of different people. I think you just unfairly get singled out. That's my opinion.
When a little over a year ago, I think I've said it on the show before, I had a chance to sit down for about an hour-long interview with Rush.
Right. You mentioned that a couple of shows ago.
Yeah. So asked some pointed some questions, and a couple of questions kind of surprised him a little bit. Nothing added, nothing terrible. It wasn't a gotcha type of interview. It was just a football fan trying to pick the brain of a brilliant football mind. That's the approach that I took. Okay?
Yeah.
And so I walked away from that interview, Phil, thinking that I know exactly what type of football coach that Rush Probst is. And if I can liken it to the business world, there's two types of business leaders. There's the CEO type that comes in to basically maintain a corporation. And there's the entrepreneur type that builds things from the ground up into a behemoth. Rush Probst is an entrepreneur when it comes to coaching football teams. He's got a process that he puts in place. And if you take a look at the programs that he's been to, it's almost a template down to the letter. I mean, he has a process that's almost a template that he follows to the T. And because he follows a certain process, he gets results. It kind of reminds me of I'm not liking this guy to Rush Probst, but it kind of reminds me of another famous football coach that emphasizes process a lot. The football coaches that are entrepreneur types that likes to build programs and put systems into place, they rely heavily on processes.
Yeah.
And so the guy I'm talking about obviously is Nick Saban. He talks about process a lot. Whether you bring a player into his programs, like if you trust my process, you will become better. You will become a superstar. Yeah. So Rush comes into a football program and tells the administration, if you trust my process, you will have a championship winning program. And that's just the bottom line. Whether you agree with his methods or not, he's got a process, he follows it, and they start winning.
Yeah, we'll move along. I want to point out a couple of the comments coming in. By the way, guys, thanks so much for checking out the show today. If you happen to be new, let us know where you're checking in from. And guys, be sure to like and share. And the key word being share. Share our page. Share the show with folks out there so we can get more and more people, watching the show. And look, we plan on talking high school football year round. Now, if you guys want to throw in some baseball, basketball talk, we are up for it. We don't want to exclude any sports. I don't want you thinking that this is becoming a football exclusive show. We do talk a lot of football because it warrants the year-round discussion. And we have found that we can, but by all means, if you want to bring up, your Lanier County, going for 3 state championship in baseball in a row this year, I think that's quite an accomplishment for that program, smaller schools. So things like that, we're certainly willing to talk about. Jose Padilla is my man. Jose, what's up? Jose says, Mr. Phil, who is always on point with the breaking news, the number one source, love us some Phil Jones. How can I not reread that, right? No, I don't have any or anything.
Jose's angling to be labeled the number one fan of XYZ team.
There you go. Yeah, I hear you. Well, him and my man Obadiah Farley are kind of our number ones with Thomas County Central. So there you go. Rosser Sutherland, one of the best posts of the day. Rosser Sutherland says, "Hello from Marietta. I'm starting to collect some pennies to hopefully go to London for the first time in August." How about that? Yeah, you better start saving up a lot of pennies before they start taking them, by the way. But of course, Marietta is going to London, England, going across the big pond to play. Now, Rosser, that is going to be a regular season game, is it not? It's going to count. It's not like a preseason scrimmage, right? But that's going to be a big game that they've got coming up. I think it's kind of a cultural exchange.
Yeah.
We see that a lot.
Opponent? Who's the opponent?
That's a good question. I don't know. Rosser fill us in on that, but man, I would love to see that start a trend. I'd love that kind of stuff. I love interstate games where teams from Georgia go and play Alabama teams and wherever, but this is taking it to a whole different level, obviously. So, anyway, Andrew Watkins checking in. I wanted Rush Probst to come to Dougherty County to help break a title drought that the team has. Yeah, that's not going to happen, Andrew. I would not hold my breath on that one, brother.
Could you imagine Rush Probst at an Albany school? That would be something to see.
Yeah, it would. Of course, we know about the Falcons looking for a new head coach. Andrew Watkins says, any predictions on who the new coach will be for the Falcons? Alan Clinton says, Clint Kubiak. I have no idea who that is. Who is that, Clint? Oh, I'm sorry, Alan. I'm excited, though, about Matt Ryan. The rumor is that Matt Ryan and the Falcons, Arthur Blank, is going to have a press conference on Thursday morning to announce more about his decision to fire Raheem Morris and the general manager last night, whose name escapes me. I thought it was a great move for the Falcons, something they needed to do. I like the fact that the last 4 wins did not play into any decision, as it shouldn't have, Larry. Have you kept up with the Falcons deal?
Man, it's very hard to admit that you're a Falcons fan. What I heard this year, Phil, is I think Falcons fans across the board have reached out to old school New Orleans Saints fans that had the paper bags they used to wear on their heads. You remember that years ago?
Of course.
They'd go to the stadiums to the Saints games, but they didn't want anybody to identify them. They had these paper bags. I feel that way as a Falcons fan. It's been so long since
they were the Aints, what they call themselves. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think 8 years since the Falcons made the playoffs. But anyway, I applaud the decision. Listen, we'll go back to last year, and I swear we'll move on and start talking high school football, guys. I just want to get this off my chest. Last year, the Falcons had a chance to get Bill Belichick. You say what you want to. The guy won so many Super Bowl rings, he's run out of fingers. Okay? That's true. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but he goes to these events, and he has to have his girlfriend wear Super Bowl rings so they'll have enough fingers. But anyway, say what you want to about Bill Belichick, and I get the Tom Brady reference. I just think that was the coming together of 2 special talents, coaching and player. That's my belief, and I think that they equally had a lot to do, or equally had as much to do with the success of the Patriots winning those Super Bowls. Now, Bill Belichick not having as much success on the college level, it's just because he's not a college coach. He's a pro coach. So that's where the Falcons, I thought, really messed up by deciding to go with a coach with a career-losing record over one of the top head football coaches in the country. And you wasted that opportunity. So anyway, wanted to get that off my chest. I hope there's another Bill Belichick type coach that comes around in this current group of candidates that the Falcons are going to have to search through. But I will say Matt Ryan is being rumored to going to be the president of football operations. I hope that happens, and we'll see. Thursday morning they're going to get the announcement about a lot of these changes coming up.
Let me ask you a question. As far as head coaches goes, and I guess this question could apply to any level, certainly high school, certainly college, maybe pros too. But I was having this discussion with fellow Viking fan, Chase Garnto,
Who's on the screen right now?
and Armand a few weeks ago. And the question was, who makes a better head coach, an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I don't know if there's any, I'm sure there's some, if we dig deep enough, we can find some facts or figures behind that. I think it's probably best to answer it this way. I think the key is whatever your background is.
Yeah.
The true key to success is making sure you hire a complementary piece to your staff as a coordinator. You understand what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
So if you're a defensive coordinator who's had success in the league and you're coming in, what you've got to do is find you a great offensive coordinator. I'm trying to think when the Falcons had Mike Smith. Okay. The Falcons had Mike Smith, and I'll even throw in who's the coach that led us to the Super Bowl? Dan, what was his name, guys? Somebody help me out. Anyway,
Dan.
What was his name, guys? Come on, help me! I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on that. They were both defensive-minded coaches.
I know who you're talking about. I got a picture of him clear in my mind, but I can't remember his last name.
He's the coach of the Washington Commanders right now. And by the way, I hate saying that.
Yeah.
By God, they're the Washington Redskins, okay? I'm not going to say Commanders again.
Quinn, that's it. Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. Thank you, guys. Yes. Thank you, Larry. I guess you got that. So, Dan Quinn. Thank you, Michael Baxter, Larry Gowan. Dan Quinn and Mike Smith were both defensive-minded guys. Okay, so here's how we answer that question, Larry, that you're asking.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They brought in great offensive minds. I think Dan Quinn had Kyle Shanahan.
Uh-huh.
Now, even though he cost us the Super Bowl, he also got us to the Super Bowl. Great offensive mind. Head coach, what's head coach of the Denver Broncos? He's don't know where he's at now, but Kyle Shanahan, great offensive mind. But you see how it's peanut butter and chocolate. It mixes together. Great complementary pieces. So I think that's how you answer that. But let's talk.
You're right. I think you're right. I think in modern day football, I think old school, you had coaches that they were micromanagers. They had a hand in everything.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But in modern day football is just so complex and so intense that I think whatever side of the ball the head coach comes from, I think he's got to put enough trust in his coordinators to let those guys run their side of the ball.
100%.
But
there's no way to be a head football coach and be a game manager.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Guys, think about this. And I guess this really goes for being a high school coach or coach at any level, Larry. And I want people to stop and think about this if you don't already. Think about the play. The play is ran. The play comes to an end. And you've got, and I don't even know, what is the play clock in high school? 25 seconds, 30 seconds? Somebody tell us. We're asking a lot of questions today. To be host of the high school football show, we don't know much. But anyway, what's that?
I think is it 40 seconds? I can't remember.
San Francisco. Thank you, Jim Blair. I don't know. Somebody help us out. Anyway, you've got, let's say 40 seconds. I think that's the NFL play clock. You've got 40 seconds. So think about the play comes to an end. And right then, when the ball's spotted, boom, you got 40 seconds to come up with the next play. Now, that's just coming up with the play. It's obviously got to be sent in. Quarterback's got to call it. And that's got to be in the midst of your player changes. 40 seconds. There's Devin Cannon. Thank you for that, brother. Toby Passmore says 20. Go ahead.
It's actually both.
So I'm guessing it's so 25 seconds is what, Toby? Is that
So
high school?
Phil, here's the deal. It's,
Okay.
it's actually both. So after a play, and I'm getting this directly from NFHS, and this is where all the high school state associations get it from.
Yeah,
So
sure.
after play, the clock starts at 40 seconds unless there is an administrative stoppage, and then it's 25 seconds.
Okay. Very good. All right. So anyway, regardless, bottom line is once you've got, that clock starts ticking, you got to have your play ready. Got to implement the play, got to get it in, it's got to be called in the huddle. And I know even if you had a no huddle, still got to be called into the player. So anyway, there's a lot to it. Is all I'm saying. So you really have got to be on your toes. And I think a lot of people don't stop to realize that. But all right, let's talk about the positions that are open. So you've got Camden County. Now, remember, you've got Camden County that has suffered through. John Lindsay took the job, and now John Lindsay, basically was on the job for a month and decided it wasn't for him. Okay. Travis Rowland, whom he had replaced. Travis Rowland was there for 2 years. Of course, he's gone. Here's the deal. Okay. You're coming in, both of those coaches were coming in the shadow and in the footsteps, Larry, of one of the most successful coaches to ever walk the sidelines on a Georgia high school football field.
Right.
Jeff Herron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at Brunswick, it's kind of a shame there that, something that I felt like Garrett Grady really had no control over. I mean, the kids just took off and, went off on their own. They left the sidelines. And of course, we know the story there. Coach Grady called a lot of flack for that and pretty much felt like he had to resign. And again, sad situation. So you've got coming in behind a legend at Camden. And at Brunswick, you're coming in behind a coach who had a lot of success. 4 years there, he won the region 3 times. And
you know what Herron's record? What kind of record did he finish with? What do you think?
Jeff Herron?
Yeah.
Well, now what are you talking about? Career?
His career record. Yeah. Let me make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
What kind of winning percentage do you?
That's where I was going to go. I'm going to guess 78%.
The guy won 82% of his games. 82%. He was.
I knew it was up there.
9 and 67.
Yeah, I knew it was up there. That's hard to do. That's hard, and you got to remember. Okay, this isn't like he was playing a bunch of fuddy-duddies. Okay, he won that. I'm assuming that's career. That includes playoff games, right, Larry?
Yeah, that's career.
So you're talking about playing some really tough, opponents. Like I said, this is just not lining up a 10-0 regular season ho hum. That's incredible. Also, Brooks Carter. Yeah, go ahead.
So
Brooks Carter, hang on, Brooks. I'm coming back to your question, buddy.
I will ask you this question about Jeff Herron.
Yep.
In his storied career, did Jeff Herron ever have a losing season?
Yeah, he did.
How many do you think he had? The answer shocked me.
I'm going to say 5.
He had 1 losing season.
Are you sure?
According to the high school association.
Well, I knew his first year back at Camden, he had a losing season.
That's it. That was the year.
It was 4-7, I believe he was.
That's right.
Was he?
Yeah. That was the year in 2021.
And that's the only one he had?
And that includes 2 seasons out of state at TL Hanna in South Carolina.
Wow. Well, shouldn't his winning percentage be even higher?
Well, no. He still had a bunch of losses. I mean, he had 60-something losses, right? But he still had an 82% winning percentage with 1 losing season.
Okay. Well, good luck then. Okay.
Yeah, good luck following that guy.
That's what I mean. How can remember when Bob Spire took over?
Yeah.
I remember me and you were trying to master his name.
That's right. Is it Spire or
You remember
Fire?
that? Yeah. So you had Jeff Herron. Jeff Herron leaves. You have where did Weldon Coffee come in? Was it before or after
Oh,
Spire?
did you just see what Rosser Sutherland posted
What?
about Josh Niblett?
Wow.
He says Rusty Manziel just posted on Twitter that Niblett has resigned at Gainesville.
Wow. Incredible.
Oh, holy moly. We got stuff breaking everywhere.
Yeah. Hang on. Give me a second, guys.
See, guys, this is why you watch this show, because it's a collection of football minds all across the state having a good time, and this is where you learn stuff. Man.
Give me just a second, guys.
Phil's jumping on that expansive network that he's got.
Yeah, we got to get this up. Give me just a second. Larry, you can keep talking if you want.
Okay. Well, not much happening in the football world today.
Who says we don't have anything to talk about, Larry?
I feel this conversation reminds me a few years ago when Valdosta had a coaching opening. You remember that? And you and I were doing the show together back then during that coaching search for Valdosta. And that thing was like a saga. It took all kinds of twists and turns. Remember that?
The Valdosta thing?
Well, yeah, the year that they hired Rush.
Oh, absolutely.
We got all kinds of names thrown at us, and some of them were really, really close to getting hired. Then all of a sudden, the last second, they backed out, or Valdosta decided to go in a different direction. And all of a sudden, you came down to one name, and it was Rush, and it's like, holy moly, how did we get here?
Larry, that was, I don't know how to describe that. That was what, Larry? 3 weeks, a month of every day. That's when I was hosting a radio show, guys.
That's right. Every single day, we got breaking news coming out of that thing.
It was unbelievable. You had Mike Coe, who was in the running. You had Rush. There were a number of coaches who were rumored to have been in the running. I know that Mike Coe had been interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
Rush, and listen, Dean Fabrizio had been interviewed.
Yeah.
And guys, here's the thing about it, and I'm not kidding you. Coaches were being brought in under the cover of darkness because there were so many prying eyes. And I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating that at all.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. Somebody gave me a tip about a particular coach. And the coach called me up and said, "Hey, how did you find out about me interviewing?" And do you remember that situation?
Yeah.
And I remember somebody had actually said, "Yeah, we saw him going. He was going in. A neighbor had called him in, said this particular coach was trying to sneak into the superintendent's garage." And I'm not making that up. That's how bad things got, guys. I'm telling you.
That reminds me of a story, Phil, when Jamie DuBose got hired at Lowndes.
Yeah.
I mean, Wes Taylor was the superintendent. I'm not telling anything that the public hasn't already heard, because Wes told the story himself publicly after the hire. But, he was determined to keep a lid on that thing, right? And he said the only way he could do it was to handle the interviews himself and not tell a single soul where he was going to go meet with head coaches. And he and Jamie DuBose had agreed to meet at a Waffle House in Podunk Town, backwoods, Georgia, or something like that.
I remember you
And
telling me that.
here they are meeting in a Waffle House talking about the coaching position at Lowndes.
And somebody saw him, right?
No, I
Is
don't
that
think he
right?
didn't know it was a secret all the way to the very end.
Okay, I
And
got
that
you.
was the only way he could figure out to keep it a secret was to meet in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I can remember when Rush was interviewing for the Valdosta job, somebody had snapped a photo of him standing outside the Valdosta Board of Education. Now that to me was not trying to be very indiscreet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or trying to be discreet, I should say. Yeah, if you when you go in, you need to go in and get out, get back to your car. And it was Todd Kaysen, I think, was the previous superintendent. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? Todd Kaysen?
Todd
Yeah.
Kaysen was a super. I think that's right. Yeah.
That's him. Yeah. He was the superintendent at the time. Sure was. And I tell you, if you remember too, that whole board of education had a kind of a cast of characters who were involved in the decision making process. You again, Larry, all this kind of goes hand. It's all flooding back to me now because all the individual board members had their own, candidates and had their own thoughts, and that's no surprise. But all this became very public, and it was just very. I don't know. Everybody was playing a part, almost like it was a play.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding you guys. It was the most incredible thing I have ever been a part of in the high school football landscape. Now, another good one for you guys. This same coaching search, okay, you had the coach from the Las Vegas school.
Oh, yeah. Bishop Gorman, right?
Bishop Gorman. Now, how many of you have heard this story? Rumor has it, and this is alleged. Make sure everybody understands that. Apparently, the Bishop Gorman coach flew into Valdosta, interviewed for the job, and as he got back on the plane and was heading back to Las Vegas, something happened, and I can't remember what it was. Actually, I do know what it was. I'm not going to say it. But there was something that someone anonymously had called in about this coach. It was from someone in Las Vegas. Don't know if it was true. Again, I have no idea. But somebody apparently made a call into the Valdosta BOE office and said, hey, you may want to take another look at your coaching candidate. And Valdosta did. And my understanding of the whole situation was that when the Las Vegas coach left the Valdosta Regional Airport, he was under the assumption he had the job.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And by the time he landed in Las Vegas, he found out he was no longer in the running.
Wow. That's wild.
Is it not?
Oh, my gosh. That's wild right there.
Wow. So this news we're hearing, again, allegedly coming across, like Larry said, only here on this show are you going to get this kind of breaking news. I'm just getting all these texts from different people about what a day it's been, not just for the Falcons, but the high school level as well. Again, in case you're missing it, we just got news from one of our viewers that Josh Niblett is out at Gainesville, has resigned, from what we understand. Larry, let's you and I talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to be real honest with you. It's not that big of a surprise to me.
Why? I mean, to me, it's a shocker.
And I'll tell you why. Because it had just gotten tougher and tougher to win there.
Yeah.
I mean, he coached his tail off. And I'm going to put Josh Niblett and his coaching abilities up against anybody, okay?
Sure.
led the team to the state championship game in his first year, right? The next couple of years, I think this was his 4th year, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had the 2 years, including last year, where he just did not do well at all. I think second year was quarterfinal exit. Last year, first round exit to Sequoia. And I can remember Coach Niblett telling me, hey, we are going to make this kind of our, this is going to be our rallying cry. What happened to us last year, meaning 2024. So they use that as motivation, and by golly, it served them well. Give them credit with all the distractions they had from the player suspensions and everything. Gainesville, and I had predicted that was going to serve one of two purposes for Gainesville. It was either going to be too much of a distraction, or they were going to be able to use it as a motivator, and that's exactly what they did. Now, Niblett leads two very talented teams to the state finals in his first year and then last year.
Yeah.
And the first year, I think he lost by a touchdown to Langston Hughes. Then, of course, we all know in the Thomas County Central game, it was not really that close. Right?
That's right.
There.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I think Josh Niblett was finding out how tough it is to win in Gainesville. Large Hispanic population, where you're going to get a lot of soccer players, but just, you got to fight to get a lot of people to come out and play football. And again, that's just the demographics of it all.
So, now we're somewhere between 55 and 60 schools that are looking for head coaches. Sometimes the way these programs go about trying to find head coaches, I get the feeling that, they start to ask amongst themselves, hey, do you know of a coach that might be interested? Or you got a booster club member or booster club officer that says, hey, I think we can go after this guy. And sometimes that's just the way it starts. Sometimes they obviously get them through job applications, that kind of stuff. Do you think that there are going to be more first-time head coaches this year, or head coaches basically just trading schools, rotating amongst themselves between different schools?
I'm sorry, Larry, my puppy's over here. The first part, I guess you were asking me if we were going to have newly appointed coaches, or...
Yeah, do you think, with somewhere between 55 and 60 vacancies, do you think we're going to see the vast majority of these coaching positions filled with brand new first-time head coaches, or existing head coaches that move from team to team?
Existing head coaches by far.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think here, and again, boy, I am getting some crazy rumors that are being sent to me by some. I mean, this is not Johnny on the street.
Sure.
And I'm getting some really, really interesting candidates that are supposedly could be leaving. To your point, Larry, could be leaving an existing job, going somewhere else. So we'll see what happens.
That's what makes this time of the year so interesting, because we're not talking about a single school, right? And we're not even talking about 55 schools. We're talking about probably 80 to 90 schools. And here's what I'm talking about. Because some of these vacancies are going to be filled with coaches that have jobs now. And so as soon as they resign one position to take another, that's another opening that opens back up. And some of those openings are going to be filled with coordinators. And when those coordinator jobs come open, they're going to be filled with other coaches. So it's a constant revolving cycle. So my point is, there's more than 55 communities out there that are looking for head coaches. A lot of them, probably several dozen, don't even know they're looking for head coaches yet.
Right. That's a good point. So, wow, we're getting this news again that Josh Niblett apparently has stepped down from Gainesville. Now, if that's true, we have to look at who would possibly. And here's another situation, Larry, where you've got a coach again who I think has come in and did about as good a job as you can do. My dog's right here behind me. Sorry, guys. You're having a coach that's coming in Josh Niblett. You got to remember the history at Gainesville prior to Josh Niblett, right? They really struggled. Yeah, I'm talking about the coaches that came before Niblett.
Yeah, I'm looking up real fast what their record really was.
And I think it was Heath Webb who was there before Niblett, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, Heath Webb was there. And I think they were like 5-5 and 6-4 and 4-7. And Larry, are you seeing that?
2015, before Niblett got there in 2022, 2014 was I'm sorry, 2015 was the last time they had won 8 or more games. And so before that, the next closest in 2020, they won 6 games, but that's it. So the time leading up to Josh Niblett, they were in that 5-5, 6-4 range.
Yep. That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Larry. I mean, so think about it. Josh Niblett was brought in not to improve that team to 8-2. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was brought in for the sole purpose of winning state championships. Make no doubt about it. Guys, I'll tell you, Gainesville has done a superior job, second to nobody, with their facility upgrades. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've done with that press box, their training facilities, everything, you name it. So they have put forth quite a financial investment in that program. And by that, I mean salary. Coach Niblett makes a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
And the facilities, the coaching salaries, bringing in top talent. I mean, they have definitely dedicated themselves to building a championship program. Now, have they come up a little bit short? Yeah. But Larry, I just think that Coach Niblett, I think, and this is just me speculating, and based on what I said earlier about, he's led the team to 2 state. Think about that. In 4 years, he's led the team to 2 state championship games. That's pretty darn good for a team that had last made the state title win under Deshaun Watson. Larry, you're just looking at that. When they last made the state championship?
Okay, so before Niblett got there, the last time they appeared in the state championship game was in 2012.
I think that was Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Bruce Miller was the head coach. That was the last time. And let's see, Miller stayed there for another handful of years, but he might have suffered through a cycle of not as stellar athletes, because he goes from 12-3, 12-2, 12-3, 12-2, 10-3. Then he starts plummeting 8-4, 5-6, 4-7, and then Heath Webb takes over.
Juancimo Villalobos, who is a big Gainesville fan, says, yes, Juancimo Villalobos says, yes, Heath Webb, rough 4 years under Heath. And that's my point. So when Heath Webb was there, I'm sure he was doing all he could. He's a good football coach. I think he went to North Hall, if I'm not mistaken. Juancimo, help me out on that. So again, you bring in a guy like Niblett, who was a state championship caliber coach at Hoover. Larry, that was the equivalent, basically. I'm not saying he's the same man, but that was basically the equivalent of bringing in a Rush Prost.
Yeah.
Because Niblett had replaced Rush at Hoover, and Hoover was a championship machine. Okay. So just incredible. Just incredible what Niblett was able to do there, going from where they were, which was meandering and mediocrity, and going from that to 2 state finals in 4 years. And I just think that Larry, I think Coach Niblett said, and just probably it occurred to him, that the realization occurred to him that, this is going to be really, really tough with all the challenges we have, Larry. That's what I'm saying.
So, Phil, I did find an article here that's being reported by Andy Villamarzo from Rivals,
right,
on on3.com. So he says, after 4 seasons of leading the Gainesville Red Elephants, Josh Niblett has decided to step away as head coach. According to reports, Niblett informed his staff on Monday that he intends to step down as the head football coach. Niblett was coming off 25 season, trying to see if they says where he's going, but that's it. That's all it basically says. So you got Rivals saying, yeah, he has stepped down.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody's reporting it. Yeah, I've gotten all kind of links. Again, we got it, I'm sure. Who was the first reporter here for us? Russell Sutherland?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Hang on just a second.
How do you pronounce his name? Is it Onesimo?
Onesimo Villalobos.
Okay, so I'm going to call him Onesimo, okay?
That's what he's called. Yeah, that's his name. Onesimo Villalobos.
So Onesimo, he says, I saw speculation, of course, to Colorado with Coach Primetime.
Wow, how about that? I know that they are very close.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that or not. All right, Luke Nelson, a.k.a. Big Buford, is checking in. Luke, always great to see you, my man. Luke Nelson says, I made it. Big Buford is in the house. Big Buford. Luke Nelson. But Luke is still living on that state championship, and I don't blame you, brother.
Man, you can chomp on that thing all the way up until August.
100%, dog. Let me tell you, man, that to the victor goes the spoils, baby.
Yep. And you know what? I got to give it to Buford fans. For the rest of the football world, we like to give Buford all kinds of crap. But you know what? They're a team that backs it up, man. So,
listen, I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of Buford. 100%.
How can you not be?
because people hate winners, Larry. Yeah. People hate winners. Boy, by the way, I got some people stirred up. After Alabama had lost.
Oh, you said the Alabama dynasty is officially over. I think you made the obvious statement that's on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking a dig at them. And the other thing,
I'm sorry, hold on, Bill. I had to bust out laughing at Stephen K. Wynn's comment.
What did he say?
Niblett to Brunswick would be a great storyline.
Yeah. But look, I wasn't bashing Alabama. It's just the truth. But here was the weird thing about my post was people were coming back at me saying, well, yeah, at least they've had a dynasty.
Yeah.
And I know the digs were against Georgia. I got it. But the funny thing is, I didn't say a word about Georgia. It was nothing about Georgia. It's just funny where people's minds go.
I think.
You follow what I'm saying?
I think college football fans, especially the blue blood fans, whether it's Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, all these top programs, LSU, throw them in there. Listen, whether we like it or not, NIL and the transfer portal has leveled the playing field. Look at Indiana. Phil,
Yeah.
5 years ago, did you ever think we would wake up in a college football world where we were talking about Vanderbilt and Indiana as two of the top programs in the nation?
No, no. And listen, again, I love it. Okay. I mean, I love it.
So Juancillo says,
Hang
per
on.
Access WDUN, Niblett accepted a position at Colorado. He's going for the big money, man.
Wow, how about
Those
that?
assistants at D1 programs nowadays, they make some bank.
Oh yeah, yeah, no question. Hold on just a second. People are asking for my email here. So give me a second. Yeah, so I'm starting to get it as well. Reports are Gainesville head football coach Niblett has informed staff he is resigning the job as okay. Well, yeah, I got that. So, how about that? So yeah, looks like it could be going to Colorado. How about that? Wow. Boy, we came on today, Larry. I know it. Don't lie. You came on today thinking, oh man, what are we going to talk about today? Oh man, so much for that.
So 55, now we have 56, 57, 58 openings that we can count on.
What did it go up? +3 since we've been on the air for an hour?
Shoot, man, before this thing crests, we'll probably be up in the 65 range.
Absolutely. I mean, don't hold your breath. There's 20 minutes left. I mean, it could, we could go up another 10%. Hang on just a second. Bear with me here. Wow. What a day. What an absolute day. This is the way it goes, though. I mean, I wrote the story last night. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen it and how prophetic it was. I pinned the story last night. Georgia high schools, and I'm trying to think exactly how my headline was. Georgia high schools seek, new head coaches. I think I said several Georgia high schools are seeking new head football coaches, and that was the headline. Boy, did I had no idea just how prophetic that would be less than 24 hours later, right?
Yeah, man. So,
wow. Incredible.
All
right, I'm just typing up something here, guys.
Not specifically high school football, but there used to be a prominent high school football coach in the state of Georgia that went on to the college ranks that just got dismissed from a college program.
Mickey Conn
at Clemson, yeah.
He was our guest speaker at our annual high school football banquet. I think it was 3-4 years ago. He had made headlines, winning a state championship, at least one, at Grayson, Larry. Great coach, man. He did a great job there. I think it was under Mickey Conn, Larry, that Gainesville's run of superiority started.
Listen, I'm going to start the rumor right here. Mickey Conn to Camden County and reinstitutes the wing T.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
That's another guy that knows how to run the wing T.
Cravey, where are you? My buddy Rusty Cravey says Tift County isn't looking for a head coach. No, they're not. No, they are not. They are set with their guy.
So apparently,
Larry, how long do you think it'll? How much longer do you think Tift County will be before they become, competitive for a region title? How close do you think?
For a region title, so to win a region title, he's got to win it in Region 2-5A. No, 2-6A.
That's
2-6A next year, the new 6A. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
So that means that he's got to beat in the same year. He's got to beat Justin Rogers. He's got to beat Fabrizio and Mike Coe all in the same year. So he's probably
And just enjoy it. You're not you didn't finished. My buddy Jeremy Edwards in Houston
Absolutely,
County.
absolutely. So he's got to win at least 3 out of 4
Steve
of those games, right?
Steve Dvorsky at Veterans, and I think they're going to be better. Listen, this change in regions, even though it's technically going down, guys, I promise you, Jeff County would have been much better
Yeah.
playing up. I don't know if that's possible.
So to answer your question, he doesn't have the studs yet to win that region. I mean, he's got the coaching ability, but he doesn't have the players, the Jimmies and the Joes yet to be able to compete.
Yeah.
Right. So I think
Yeah, right.
if he can nail down the 3rd seed in the next couple of years, that would be a major win for Littleton up in Tift County.
Agree. I agree 100%. You got to make the playoffs. Let's get it back in the playoffs and do it as a 3 seed. Then baby steps up to the 2 seed. But you're right. You're right. Thomas County Central. Look, I don't see them going away anytime soon. Not as long as as Rogers is there. Doing a great job. And let me ask you this, Larry. Okay. Tell me what the difference is, and I mean this with all sincerity. Okay. Tell me what Justin Rogers is doing differently than some of his other, coaching brethren. And again, guys, I'm being straight up here. Right, because this is the thing about it. Rogers has had success. He had success in Jones County. People forget that, Larry.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Were you aware of that?
I mean, that was the number one reason that Colquitt went after him is because he had so much success in Jones County.
That is correct. The Greyhounds.
Yes. So listen, I remember one year when Jake Fromm was the star at Houston County. And Houston played Jones County in the Corky Kell Kickoff Classic there at Mercer Stadium. And I went to that game. And that was the first time I'd ever watched Jones County. And I walked away, Jake Fromm and the Bears won that game. But I was so impressed at how well run Jones County's offense was. And I remember asking someone, who is the head coach at Jones County? Because they have such a good offensive mind. And later I found out it was Justin Rogers. And I started digging into his past and that kind of stuff. And, I love his, I think Rogers is another innovator when it comes to offensive football. And he's a motivator as well, right? So he's not one of these guys that is going to one of these old school, sock them until they drop type of coaches. But he's got the ability, Phil, to get the very best out of his players at any given moment. And I think he does one other thing very, very well. Man, from the moment he stepped foot in Thomas County, that entire community backed him. He sold that community.
He did.
Backed that program. And I talk about this all the time. My 4 pillars. He implemented all 4 pillars and did it very, very fast. And as a result, he started winning immediately. And because he started winning immediately, he started attracting other players. We talk about Jimmys and the Joes all the time. And so if you start winning, players will come to play for you. And so he's gotten some very good players to transfer into. So it was just a complete, I don't want to say rebuild, but it was a complete construction, if you will, of the 4-pillar strategy. And he's done it flawlessly.
Well, look, and you got to remember, and I have repeated this story many times, okay? When Rush Prost came to Colquitt County, the Colquitt County Packers were meandering along in mediocrity.
Yeah.
Larry, go back and look before Rush. Colquitt County was 4-6, 6-4, 7-3, make the playoffs, get beat in the playoffs. 9-3. They'd have that record. They'd have that good season every now and then. They'd pop. every now and then. Okay, win a region title every now and then, but for the most part, Colquitt was just mediocre.
Yeah.
Okay, now Rush gets there, and what does he do differently? Again, it's kind of the same thing we're asking about Rogers, right? Rush got there, and all of a sudden, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
Rush did it, and I remember I wrote the article about this a couple of months ago. Yeah. How do you build a winner? You do it with better athletes, and or you got to be different than the other guy. Okay,
Yeah.
we've talked about it. Jeff Herron kind of had it both ways. Jeff Herron did it both ways. He has some good athletes, of course, but he also did things differently. Jeff Herron started running the wing tee. Nobody was running the wing tee at large classification football, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you didn't find 7, 8, 6. They'd go up and play like the Waltons and Mill Creek, who they beat, in that playoff game when Jeff Herron was there. Went and just demolished a really good Josh Lovelady Mill Creek Hawks. And I can remember Josh Lovelady talking about, man, we didn't know how to stop. We never played against that wing tee at this level.
Yeah.
So that's what Jeff Herron was talking about. You got to either be better or you got to do something different. They did it differently. Now, with Rush, he also did things differently.
Yeah.
Rush implemented that nutrition program that now a lot of schools are mimicking. And let me tell you, Larry, you know this. Man, it is not, you got to budget for it. You got to be ready for it because it does not come cheap.
Yeah. And so this is where I talk about all the time, Phil, where this is why the community support is so important.
What's up, Obadiah? Been wondering where you been, brother.
That's why I talk about all the time where the community support has got to be there, right? Because the dollars have to come from somewhere. The administration and the school system only has so much money to devote to growing your football program, right?
That's right.
It's got to come from outside of the system. And the only way you can get it is from either one of two areas, big time donors or the community. Ideally, you get it from both, right? And so Rush, when he got to Colquitt, what did he do? He sold the community and the dollars started flooding in. Rogers got over to Thomas County Central. He sold the community, and look at how much money they've invested in that program now.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like it or not, guys, if you want to be a championship program, you got to have money. You got to have money, and it's got to come from somewhere.
Yes. You've got to invest in that nutrition program. I'm really interested, by the way. I know we got Big Buford's in the house. Luke, I think you're still with us. You've also got to have the facilities as well. Before I ask that, that field house. Remember, guys, that indoor practice facility, Larry, that Rush had built at Colquitt. I'm pretty sure it was all private funded, wasn't it?
No, that's not. No, that they built that thing with the East Plus. One penny sales tax.
Okay, I got you. All right, so they did SPLOST then. So, but a lot of, I guess maybe it was the feeder or the not feeder, but the nutrition program where you're feeding the players. That obviously was done with private funds, and that takes a lot of money. You're feeding kids. Doesn't matter. They're not going to limit it to the 22 starters. That's not going to work. You got to feed everybody, right? Yeah. And we're talking about eggs, bacon, sauces. Now let me go back to what I was going to ask if Luke Nelson is still in the house. Rusty Cravey, I'll answer your question in a minute, brother. So, you've got to have the money to back the nutrition program. When Rush got there, Rush used to tell the story about coming in on Monday morning.
Yeah.
And these kids would be exhausted, could not lift weights. I'm talking about these big 300-pound linemen. And Rush would say, and this is where it started. I'm telling you right now where it started. Rush would go up to the big 300 whatever pound lineman and say, "Man, what's wrong with you? You're weak." And kid was looked up at him and said, "Well, coach, I had nothing but potato chips to eat over the
Yeah.
weekend." These are true stories. True stories. That's when Rush realized we got a problem. And that was the beginning of the nutrition program, to where you had to make sure these kids had square meals.
Yeah.
And you couldn't just single out one or two. You had to do it for everybody. So now think about what we're saying here, guys. And Rush went to the board and said, or the Booster Club said, this is going to take a financial commitment if we're ready. And Rush told me this himself. Said, if we're ready for it, great. If we're not, let me know. And they were ready for it.
Well, we're talking about money and specifically the nutrition program. So that's just one component of it, right? You got to have money to run different parts of the program. But guys, do y'all know how much a big time program spends on feeding their athletes? You're talking minimum $70,000 a year, minimum. And that's before inflation that's gone up in the last several years. That was the last figure that I had gotten. So now you're talking, with inflation now, you're talking $80,000 to $85,000 a year to feed your entire program. But that's what it takes if you want to compete.
Okay, Larry, let me get this in real quick, because this is something I was going to make a point on earlier, and I got sidetracked.
Okay.
So if Luke Nelson is watching, Luke, Big Buford, or anybody else with the Buford program, okay, I'm interested to hear, because another part of this equation of building a winning program, if you look at Thomas County Central, you look at Colquitt, you look at whomever, Valdosta has got a monumental indoor practice facility that's going up right now. My point being that, my question is, Buford has enjoyed a lot of success. Now, I think a lot of theirs is strength in numbers. I have heard this recruitment BS forever, and that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. They don't have to recruit at Buford. Larry, you said it about 5 minutes ago. Kids want to come play for winners. Do you know how many kids want to go wear that green? That John Deere green is what I call out. It's John Deere green or not.
You know why? Because they know they're going to win, and they know they're going to get recruited.
Well, you know what? Partly, they know they're going to be coached up.
Yep.
They know. So, but here's my question, Luke Nelson. If you're still watching, I hope you can hear me on this. Are there any plans? Is it possible for Buford to be looking at an indoor practice facility? I know in South Georgia, Larry, you can attest to this. It's almost become as important as everything else in trying to build a substantive program.
Yeah. Coaches will not confirm this, and they will stay as far away from this as possible. But as a fan, someone that has watches closely winning cultures and things like that.
Yeah.
Phil, these when we talk about facilities, there's a reason why all these programs are upgrading their facilities, not just to help them win today, but they have figured out that it could help them win 5 years from now. How does it do that? Well, guys,
exactly.
We live in a world today where student athletes are highly mobile for whatever reason. We may agree with it, we may disagree with it, but the fact is that today's modern day student athlete, along with their parents, are highly mobile. And so they are looking for opportunities to go to win football games, right? And so one of the ways they do that, one of the things they look for is facilities. And so these programs have caught on to that, and they're building them faster than we can talk about them, right?
Yeah.
So, man, I'm getting a call right now from someone from Gainesville, Georgia, and I have no idea if it's a spam call or if it's someone watching this program or what, but highly coincidental.
Got about 5 minutes to go in the show, guys. Obviously, I'm going to have to get off here in a minute and get some stuff going on our sites. But I think Anna Limoges, thankfully, is putting some stuff up. But again, in case you're joining us, the word out. I'm getting asked a lot of questions, by the way, about Rush. Now, Larry, and I want everybody else to hear me on this. Okay. So there is a Rusty says, Phil, where's Rush going? Well, I'm gonna answer it this way. Okay. Larry, you with me?
Yeah, man.
All right. So a lot has happened since we came on the air at 5:30 today. When we started, you had Camden County, Brunswick, excuse me, looking for head coaches. I point them out. Now, there's about 50 schools, and you can check the story. Wayne County is looking for a new head coach, and a couple of other schools. And there's some big schools in the ones that I name. And again, you can check it out on the website. I wrote the story last night, posted it to our website. So you guys can check out all the list of schools. We have it listed. In fact, it's on Facebook. It's on our Facebook page as well. Now, Larry, here's the thing, and for all you guys as well, and we'll kind of end with this. So, since we've started talking, we have found out that Josh Niblett stepped down at Gainesville.
Cool.
Now, how's this for irony? Josh Niblett took over for Rush at Hoover when Rush left. Wouldn't it be ironic that Rush Probst...
Don't say it. Don't say it, Phil.
Wouldn't it be ironic if Rush Probst was to come in and succeed Josh Niblett at Gainesville?
How? What a twist of irony that would be.
Guys, don't say it can't happen, because it could.
Oh,
listen, I can't. And here we're coming back to where we started. And Larry, don't worry, I want you to get the final word here. But you guys understand what's going on here. You cannot ignore Rush any longer. You got some big time programs up. Rush wants, he has announced his intention to build another national brand. That's what he did at Colquitt. That's what he did at Hoover. Don't deny.
Can he do it at Gainesville?
100%. I would not doubt Rush anywhere. Now, is it going to be easy? No. Because again, I've got a lot of confidence in Josh Niblett. I do. What's that?
Does Randy Steely have something breaking? He said, excited for Camden's new coach. They're going to be a problem in 1-7A.
I don't know. But anyway, don't ignore Rush any longer. The guy has proven. Listen, you guys may think I'm crazy. Rush did one of his best coaching jobs at Valdosta. It largely gets ignored because of the fallout that happened, and I don't want to rehash that with who and what a mess. But Rush has proven he can coach. I think he's gotten older and wiser. Okay, but if you continue to just keep flogging around in we can't take a chance on Rush, well, okay. But you want to take your program to the next level, bring Rush in. He can do it. He just won a state championship with a team that's got 15, 17 kids on it. Okay, so anyway.
Phil,
Clinch County is open too. Forgot about that.
That's right.
As Brooks Carter reminded me. Larry, I'll let you get the final word to get us out of here, but we got to get us out of here. What you got?
That's right. So if Rush goes to Gainesville, look at this region, right? You got Roswell, Milton, Johns Creek, and Gainesville all in the same region. That would be fun with Rush in it.
Say it again.
Okay, so it's a big region, like 8 teams, but the ones that stand out, you got Gainesville, Johns Creek, Milton, and Roswell, all in the same region. Okay, so 3 in particular. So Milton is a well-known brand now. I don't think Milton's going away. Roswell, you saw what they did this past season. They're an up-and-coming program again. Johns Creek's got some potential, but then you got Gainesville out there. So 3 out of those 4, Gainesville, Milton, and Roswell, that would be a heck of a fight for the top of that region.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, just a lot of breaking news here. Again, Clinch is open. Jim Dickerson leaves. Josh Niblett. What a bit. Normally what do they call it? Black Monday because
Yeah.
of all, and they call that for the NFL.
All the,
My God,
all
yeah, it's taking.
the vacancies hitting the news, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it's obviously it's trickle down day as these vacancies hit high school football. Guys, we've got to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for helping us break the news. Guys, it's not us. You guys were the one that brought it today. I always say that's what makes this show great. It's not what Phil and Larry are up here talking about or, breaking news. Yeah, we got some inside information, of course, but for the most part, you guys were the one bringing it today. It's an all for one for all kind of show. And that's what makes it so special, right, Larry?
Fun stuff, man. Fun stuff. So that little teaser, you got to tune in next Monday. You never know what's going to hit the airwaves.
And I've said it before. I'll never forget. People have always, the first time we announced that we were going to be doing the show year round, which really started in earnest last year. I'll never forget being asked, well, what more are you going to talk about? Well, I think you're finding out.
That's exactly right.
It never ends. High school football has become year round in the state of Georgia. Larry, as always, thank you so much for joining me, brother. And Happy New Year to you and yours.
Absolutely. Until next time, guys, God bless you.
God bless you. See you guys.